Hi, my name is Guille Leal and I am a plant parent. Ever since the start of the pandemic and all the quarantine, I realized how I started paying more attention to plants. This does not mean that I didn't like plants before. Of course, it's just like a chain of events that happened all together that made it possible for me to rediscover, I guess, this passion for plants. When right at the beginning of the pandemic, I moved to this home, and before, me and my family were living in an apartment that was a really small apartment. So the idea of having a bunch of plants there was not the easiest one, and it was just not practical. When I was living in this apartment, I remember going to IKEA and I saw a snake plant. So everything started with this guy here. You can see the age of this plant based on its scars, and it's somehow beautiful. It's a special on its own way, and I got one of these, and this is one of the babies of that plant. So when I realized that the snake plants were so easy to propagate, so I decided to get another one, and I ended up having like 6 plants. Fast forward to being here in the house, I started, of course, with the lockdown and everything, started spending way more time at home. I honestly realized that plants were something that gave me a lot of joy. My mom is an elderly person, and I wanted to keep her safe. So for almost an entire year, she did not leave the house. And I wanted to somehow bring part of the outside world into the house, because she was here all the time. Like, my life, like everyone's life, changed dramatically. And I realized, or I think it was a time for me to recollect how important plants actually are for me. Growing up in Venezuela with beautiful weather that pretty much feels like summer, and I don't know, it's kind of like a beautiful balance in between summer and spring. It was so easy to grow plants, and we had a lot of plants, outdoor plants. Every time that she was feeling stressed out or anxious, she would go and just work in her garden, and everything would just get better. I remember that we had a bunch of trees. We have lemon trees, we have lime trees, we had papaya, we had passion fruit, we have bananas, we had a lot. So I grew up in this environment. I grew up surrounded, that was my normal, my by default place to be was a green space. My collection has grown so much since the beginning of the pandemic, and I have learned so much as well about plants. There is something unique about plants as a living organism that allows you to see the progression of starting from a seed and growing and reaching the prime moment of life, and also you experience death, and that is something that only plants can give you. When you look at a bush of flowers, you can see how some are blooming, some are dying, some are just starting to be a bud. And isn't that what life is? I feel like life is like a bush of flowers where we are all together, and we are all living our own journeys at a different time, and we're at different spots in different stages in our own journey. And that doesn't mean that we cannot be together. It doesn't mean that we cannot work as a community, that we cannot work as a whole, because that is what makes us special. I certainly believe that plant parents are going to continue to be a thing. I think that this is not a simple fad that is going to disappear, because we are connected, we are rooted, our existence is rooted in nature. Plant parenting is something that is definitely not new, but is becoming stronger and stronger. And now with social media, we see how people pay so much attention to plants, and it's becoming a trend. We see millions of Instagram accounts of people sharing tips and sharing their pride of growing their own plants. And is I think this is a response to what we are realizing now as society, as humankind, that this connection that is so crazy to even like think about, that we have had throughout the years with nature, it's really sad. We went from starting our lives in the wilderness. We started from depending at 100% for shelter, for food, for everything on nature, and we continue to move to more urban areas. We see how there are more and more mega cities where people just concentrate in these urban spaces, and there is such disconnection. There are almost little to zero green spaces, and I feel that the plant parenting and this on a say trend to pay more attention to plants and to grow them inside, indoors, is in response to trying to somehow close that gap in between us and nature. And definitely I feel like what we're trying to do is to bring that greenery, that sense of I don't know, there's something energizing about plants that when you have them indoor, it takes you to the next level. And I think that's what people are doing, and I want to include myself in that, because I have noticed how much better I feel as soon as I am with my plants and I spend time with the plants. I definitely believe that my connection with plants is really associated, and it's probably rooted in my relationship with my mother. She is such caring and loving person. I guess that when I am with my plants, when I am taking care of my plants, is the moment or the time when I feel more connected with my mother, because I feel that is when we are more alike. Something really sweet that my mother said the other day. She feels like she's always on a picnic when we're here eating in the dining room, because of all the plants that we have. That's exactly what I guess I didn't know that's what I wanted with those specific words, but the feeling behind was what I wanted to accomplish. This is one of the plants that really make me proud the most. This is a mango tree. Well, right now it's just this little stem here, but it's going to eventually be a mango tree. I grew this from a seed, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's exactly the sense of providing shelter and providing the elements for a simple seed to go back to that cycle of life, and the idea to think about these potentially becoming a full tree that is gonna have mangoes, and another seed is gonna come from it. It's that cycle, it's that circle of life that only plants give you the chance to see so easily. Plants have given me an opportunity to focus that nurturing and caring energy of mine into something that I can see succeed, and it's so rewarding. I wish I could have been part of, I don't know, just better times where just we in the best pastoral way, I guess, just hang out and roll on the grass and spend time outside, and you could feel that connection. I feel that that was one of the most significant things. One of the most significant things that I experienced in this class was knowing about the pastoral movement and how such beautiful pieces of art were created. There's the only explanation to that is how mindful men were at that time, and how connected and how strong that connection was for it to be able to create such beautiful pieces. So I'm trying in my own way to recreate my own pastoral moments, and I love the idea of always being at a picnic